Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to create my slider bracelet. It is a reversible design with the back side being these two right here. It does wear great on either side though. If you do follow my tutorial exactly, you will need to choose some kind of an extension to add on the bottom because it will not be big enough to fit around your wrist. As always, I will tell you how far down the loom to go though if you wish to avoid an extension. So for the breakdown today, you will need approximately 85 bands. The breakdown is 28 of the tan, 12 of the white, 12 of this brown, 6 of the blue, and 12 of the clear that sits inside. You will need anywhere from 15 to 30 extension bands depending on which version you choose, unless you don't use an extension at all. So with that being said, we will need one C-clip, and I will go ahead and show you the loom setup. To get started, you will need to have one rainbow loom set up in a normal stagger position. If you do only use the one loom, like I mentioned, you'll need to add some kind of an extension chain at the end to get it to fit. If you want to avoid an extension, connect another rainbow loom right in front of this one. So the first thing we're going to lay is going to be the tan bands, which I call the border. We're going to grab one and we're just going to sit it in the middle loosely for closing it later. And then we're going to go out to the left and the right. And now we're just going to go down the sides. For the loom that I'm doing, I'm going to lay 11 straight ones. So this one will be 1. And once I lay 11, I will bring it into the center at the end. If you are doing 2 loom lengths, you're going to be laying 23 straight ones and then bringing it into the center. You will notice that you could technically lay one more if you're doing the full length one, but there's a reason that I do that. So make sure you listen to the number that I say to lay. Once you have reached your desired number, go ahead and bring it into the end like so. Into the center, at the end. Like that. Go ahead and do the same thing on the other side and bring it in at the end the same way. Like so. Go ahead and push them down some and then come back to the beginning. And now we're going to choose our next color, which is going to be the white right here. I'm using this exact color combination, so I'm going to grab my white. And from here on out, once you have the first set of bands laid correctly, whether you're using one loom or 2 looms, everything is going to be the same. If you're using 2 looms, you're just going to be laying more sets of them than I will. But all the rules and everything will apply exactly the same. So starting with the white, we are going to start on these first pins up here. Lay a diagonal band going into the middle from each side, making an upside down V. We're going to do that on every other row. So skip the next 2 open pins, come up to the third, and we will lay our next upside down V. Skip the next one after that. Come up to the one after it and start laying your upside down V again. We will keep doing this on every other row until we cannot lay any more. So whether you are using 1 loom or 2, your last upside down V will end 1 row before your border ends. So come back to the beginning, and now we're going to choose our next color. And that's going to be the brown. It kind of blends in on this one, but it's right here in those spaces. And on the back side, let me show you what it looks like. You can see the brown a lot more back here. So we're going to be laying long stretch diagonal bands for these ones going in the opposite direction than the white was. So we will start on the very first pin in the center. And we're going to do a long diagonal stretch up to that open pin on each side. We will come up to the next open pin in the center, and we will start laying our V again. Remember, it's a long stretched one, so when it connects to the outer row, it will be connecting to a pin that has nothing connected to it, meaning there's no white bands on there. You can also see that it crosses right on top of the white layer. So we're going to do that all the way up. So this is where I laid my last one. I won't lay anything here. Come up to the next open one and we will lay another V. You can easily identify it because, as I mentioned, it needs to cross right over the white ones. We will do this until we cannot go any further down the loom, like so. So we're going to come back to the beginning of our loom. I do recommend pushing them down a little. So now we are going to lay the blue. It looks like this on the back. And we're going to start on the very first row right here. We're going to lay a horizontal band going straight across. We're not going to lay anything on the row after it. Come up to the one above it, and that's where our next one will go. It should be crossing on top of your long V band. We're going to keep laying this on every other row. Like so. So we are going to go through and push those horizontal bands down, and then we're going to do some looping before we add the last set of bands on. So push them down, turn your loom around, and grab your hook. We're going to be looping the white bands, and then we're going to loop the brown on each set. So we're going to come to this first set of regular V's now, which are my white bands. In the center, grab the top diagonal band, and we're just going to loop it back to itself. So these white ones will get looped upwards like so. And then we'll go back in and loop the brown. So the brown ones get looped from the middle as well, but they get looped downwards. Grab the top one and just loop it down back to the pin that it's coming from. Do the same on the right one. Like so. We'll come up to the next set, starting with our white in the middle. Grab your top one, loop it out to the left. Go back in and loop it out to the right. We're going to loop the brown ones now, and they go downwards. Come up to the next set, loop your white out, and your brown down. We will keep repeating this until each set is all looped out. I think this is definitely a very easy, quick design. I designed something, I can't think of the name of it. It was very similar to the steps, but it does look a lot different as far as the bracelet goes. But this has been sitting around quite a while. I actually haven't designed anything new. I've just been grabbing from a very old pile. So I definitely need to start designing again. I am on my last one here. Don't forget to loop those last ones down. Like so. So now that they're all looped out, it really doesn't matter which direction your loom is facing. I'm just going to go ahead and turn it back around like this. And we are now going to lay our last set of bands, which are going to be cat bands, but they're going to be the clear, and it sits inside. You do not really see it at all. It pokes through maybe a tiny bit there, but you really don't see it a whole lot. So I'm going to use clear again, and we will be needing to add a cat band to every row. What I do is I just pick either side. I place a regular cat band on the pin, on one of the pins, and I do that going all the way down the loom. This is wrapped 2 times, not 3, so a regular cat band. And then after I get all of these laid, I will come back with my hook and stretch it over to the other pin on the other side. So go ahead and get all of these cat bands on. Okay, so I have every pin that is on this side bar has a cat band on it. I'm going to turn my loom around to make it a little bit easier. And now I'm just going to grab the cat band with my hook. Make sure you're only getting the cat band and no other bands are in your hook, and just stretch it over like so, connecting it to the other side of the loom. Make sure that your cat band is not twisted amongst other bands like mine was on that one. You want the cat band to be sitting completely on top of the other bands. So I'm going to go ahead and get these stretched over, and then I will show you what we're going to do next. So after you have all of those cat bands stretched over, we're going to come back to the beginning. We're going to grab one more of our first color, the border color, and place a cap band on the center so we do not forget to do that. Now we're going to start looping by flipping a bunch of bands over. So in this first row right here, we're going to be flipping the bottom part of that brown band over. We are going to call the cap band on all of the pins, we're going to call the cap band band 1. So if you're counting that as band 1 on this pin here, we need to flip the third band over, which is going to be this brown band right here. You're just flipping it over and setting it on that on the clear band like so. Come on the right side, grab the third band and flip it over. So we're going to come up to this row right here, and on this one we actually need to flip over just the white bands. So in order to do that, I grab them both at once, but again we're going to act like the cap band is band 1. We need to grab band 2 and 4. So it's this one right here and this one right here. So 2 and 4, both whites. As I said, I like to do it at once. So if you carefully get your hook in there and don't go in too deep. If you go in too deep, you're going to grab the blue. But if you just go in this little space right here, you can grab them both at the same time and flip it up. If you can't do it at once, it's fine. Just make sure you do get them both flipped over eventually. We're going to come up to this row where my brown bands are. We're going to flip the bottom brown band over, which is again the third band. On this row right here, where I have my white and blue, I need to flip only the white bands over. So it's band 2 and 4. 2 and 4. We need to do this going all the way up the loom. So I'm going to keep flipping the bottom brown band and then my 2 white bands. Just take your time working up the loom because we have to keep alternating which bands we are flipping. Make sure when you do the top section of each little group that you're only flipping your whites and that that horizontal band is not getting flipped over with it by accident. So this is what mine looks like after they're all looped over. Now something I want you to do right now, which helps in the future, it might seem a little odd to you, but you'll get it once we start looping. You want to try to push these white bands in towards the center. So whether you use your fingers like this or use your hook, you can put it right here in front of the pin and just push it like that. Do that to each section so that the top of each group, those white bands get pushed into the middle, because we're going to be working right here in that space, and it helps if those white bands are pushed out of our way. So do that on each one. Okay, so now we can continue looping, and we're going to come down to the beginning and start looping the border. So in this bottom pin here, we're just going to loop these bands back to themselves, going to the right and the left. We're going to go into this pin and loop the border up again. So there's a lot of layers that you have to move out of the way. Grab the very bottom band and loop it up. Do the same on the right side. We're going to be going back and forth because we're going to loop both borders at the same time. Now we need to flip that blue band over. And this is why we push these white bands out of the way, because we need to grab the blue band, that horizontal blue band, from in this little tiny space right here. So you can see my cap band is wrapping around like this, right? We need to go in that little space that is between the pin and between the white bands that we flipped. So right here, get your hook inside that little hole. You're going to grab a hold of the blue horizontal band, and you need to pull it up through that hole and then work it over the pin. So as I pull up, I then start going to the left so I can get it over the pin, over the band, and then let it go. We'll do the same on the right side. So I'm going to locate the pin. I'm going to go right next to it and locate the opening of that clear cap band. I'm going to get my hook inside the cap band, grab the blue. I'm going to bring it up and kind of work my hook to the right so that I can get the band over the pin and then let it go. Once you flip that, we're going to go back to looping the borders up. So we'll go in the pin, push back all of the top bands, grab the bottom, loop it up, and loop the border on the opposite pin, loop it up. We don't do any flipping here where the brown is, so we're just going to go ahead and loop the border again. When you get to the pins that have that blue horizontal band, that is where we need to do the flipping. So I'm going to locate the pin. I'm going to come right next to it in that little space right there. Grab a hold of the blue and flip it over. Repeat on the right side. If your white band ended up falling back over like this, just use your hook, push from the outside until it moves enough to where you can get your hook right in that little space. Get your hook in there, grab the blue, and flip it over. We're going to loop our border band up on both sides. We have to do this twice. So we looped it up once. We're going to go in and loop the border again. And now we are at the blue horizontal bands again. So I'm going to go into that little space next to the pin and flip over my blue. Loop the border up. Loop the border up again. Go in that little space next to the pin inside that cap band and flip the blue up. Keep alternating, looping up the border twice and flipping your blue until you reach the top of the loom. There is a blue to flip on the very last set of pins at the top, so don't forget to flip that. Once you're done flipping that, the only thing we have left to do to close it off is grab the very bottom border and bring it into the center. So at this point, we are going to grab that loose band at the top. We're going to go into the pin in the middle, grab the other side of that band, bring both ends together. This is where you're either going to temporarily C-clip it, or if you just want to slide it down on your hook, pull it off of the loom, and then you can add it onto an auto loom or onto 2 pins to make an extension. I am not going to be making an extension, but if you need to know how to do one, I will link a video down in the description box below or in the little eye up here. I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the loom. So here is my piece off of the loom. I like to give it a little bit of a stretch once I take it off. I haven't noticed that you really have to do anything to this bracelet once you take it off. And it definitely does depend on the bands that you use. These are the premium bands. It comes out very nicely. But if any of your blue bands are a little pulled to one side, you can certainly fiddle with it with your hook or fingernails, pulling it to one side to even it out, and then up and down. So I'm not going to do an extension, but once you have your extension done, or if you made a full-length bracelet, locate your C-clip, connect it to your cap band, and you'll be good to go. So I'm going to sit that to the side, but that is how you make my slider bracelet. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I know it was a super quick one, but I think it's fun and it's cute and it's easy and quick to make a lot of them. So thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you really soon at my next tutorial. Thank you guys. Bye.